A train where once you board, there is no ticket to get off. A virus that turns humans into animals. And a father-daughter relationship that goes through a test more terrifying than the zombies themselves. So let's go into that same train where nothing is left except death. The train attendant standing outside was checking passengers. But he didn't notice that a girl had quickly boarded the train and was thrashing uncontrollably at the door. Seeing no one outside, he signaled to close the doors. As soon as the doors closed, he saw a horrifying sight. Crowds on the stairs, a riot-like atmosphere in the waiting area. The train started moving. A little girl was looking outside. Suddenly, the train attendant was pushed down. The girl got scared. She wanted to tell her father, but he was sleeping. Then the girl saw a passenger telling the attendant that someone was making noise in the toilet. Curious, the girl followed. The attendant opened the door to find a beggar trembling inside. The attendant wanted to check his ticket. But the beggar, terrified, was acting like a madman, as if he had fallen prey to something terrifying. Meanwhile, in another coach, the same infected girl was tightly wrapping her stockings around her thighs. She could feel she was about to lose control, and exactly that happened. A few minutes later, she stumbled into the coach. She looked even stranger now, as if her body was no longer hers. After opening the door with her last remaining strength, she finally couldn't hold herself together. The girl hit the wall headfirst and then crashed hard onto the floor. Everyone was unaware that this train was soon to become a pit of death. The same little girl, named Suan, needed to use the toilet. But when she opened the door, a man stopped her. This hefty uncle told Suan that his pregnant wife was inside, so he asked Suan to go to the next coach to use the toilet. Just then, a female train attendant was getting ready for inspection. She saw the girl lying on the floor. Seeing her condition critical, she immediately called her manager. Just then, Suan's father woke up with a start. His phone was vibrating in his pocket. He found his daughter missing, but seeing a call from his company, he decided to answer it first. In that quiet atmosphere, he suddenly heard the sound of the train attendant's shoes quickly passing through the corridor. He felt that some emergency had occurred. That's why Suan's father, Seokwoo, also started to feel that something was wrong, and he immediately got up to look for his daughter. The passengers sitting behind were staring at the emergency news on TV in fear. The attendant was confused seeing the unconscious girl. Suddenly, the intercom signal cut off, and while she was waiting for her male colleague, the girl suddenly became fully infected and turned into a dangerous zombie. When no one answered the attendant's calls, he ran there. But by then, something had already happened to the female attendant. In the baseball player's coach, the zombie was on the female attendant's back. She was trying to stop it and asking passengers for help. But before they could understand, she fell unconscious. Meanwhile, the zombie girl had made another passenger her prey. But just as Taejan moved forward to help his friend, his girlfriend saw the infection spreading on the floor. There was a commotion behind, and when the manager arrived, the panicked passengers pushed him down. Within minutes, the coach was filled with zombies. Seeing the now zombie attendant biting passengers, the manager was completely shocked. Seeing the situation worsen, he immediately ran away and signaled others to flee. Seok-woo, searching for Suan, saw a passenger running but couldn't understand. He went ahead to the next coach where there was a crowd. There the attendant was waking passengers. Suddenly, a zombie bit him on the neck. Seeing this, the passengers froze and another became the zombie's prey. At that moment, Seok-woo understood everything. He started running backwards with Suan. But his daughter was terrified. The zombie was right behind her. Seok-woo also got scared because the virus had already spread in the body of a thrashing passenger ahead. But before it could attack, he pushed it away. Now, all the rear coaches were overrun by zombies. Meanwhile, Dong-seok, the husband of the pregnant woman, was near the front toilet. Seeing people running, he called his wife out. Then they saw a zombie ahead and Seok-woo trapped between them. Dong-seok didn't understand yet. To find out, he grabbed a man who had already turned into a zombie. But suddenly, that zombie attacked him. Seeing the zombies distracted, Seok-woo quickly escaped with his daughter. Dong-seok used his strength to lock the zombies in a small room. Seeing a man on the floor mutating, he immediately called his wife and begged her to run away. But seeing a large number of zombies coming from behind, Dong-seok also quickly left. By this time, Seok-woo had reached a safe coach. Everyone was watching the emergency news. When they saw the frantic passengers arriving, they realized that the same thing happening in the news was also happening on the train. Over there, as zombies chased Dong-seok and his wife, an old man suddenly shouted to close the main door. But the door got stuck halfway. Seok-woo saw that the upper switch was jammed. But even after releasing the switch, he didn't close the door. Instead, he waited for them to arrive. But instigated by that old man, the people around also sided with him. So reluctantly, Seok-woo closed the coach door and the couple got stuck between zombies. The little girl kept shouting, "Dad, open the main door," but he couldn't do anything. Dong-seok kept fighting the zombies to save his pregnant wife, thinking the others would open the gate, but no one did. Forced, he opened the door himself. Seok-woo noticed that zombies don't know how to open doors, so he told Dong-seok to leave the door open. Then Dong-seok's wife quickly picked up water spilled on the floor and used newspaper to stick it to the glass door. Only then did the zombies calm down. The same old man who had just forbidden Dong-seok from entering now stepped forward to question him, trying to shift all the blame onto Seok-woo. What a scoundrel. Just then, the conductor announced that there were instructions from above that riots might break out outside, so the train would not stop at the next station. But the old man called the attendant and ordered that the train must stop there, offering as much money as it takes. At that very moment, Seok-woo received a call from his elderly mother. Actually, many zombies had suddenly entered their home, and his mother had been bitten. Seok-woo's mother was worried that her son might be in danger. "Promise me you'll take care of yourself for 2 days always." Why was she talking like that? As the infection took over, she lost control, and the call dropped. But at that moment, Seok-woo could do nothing. He could only stay with his daughter and protect her. Meanwhile, the train suddenly applied emergency brakes. The train was passing the next station, and people outside were continuously banging on the windows. Clearly, there were also large numbers of zombies outside. Seeing such a terrifying sight, Seok-woo quickly took his daughter into his arms. As the train passed, chaos erupted everywhere. Then the Korean government held a press conference, declaring a nationwide pandemic and forbidding anyone from going outside. While everyone on the train was confused, the conductor gave them more news. The train would stop at the next station, Daejeon, where the army was already deployed. Hearing this, Seok-woo quickly went to make a call. Meanwhile, Dong-seok and Suan started talking. He asked the little girl, "What does your father do?" "He's a fund manager." "Ah, a fund manager. We suck blood." Suan understood Dong-seok's words well. So that she wouldn't feel bad, Dong-seok's wife gave her candy and let her feel the baby's movement. This made Suan feel connected to them. Just then, Suan's father called his VIP customer, who was a special officer. The officer, taking free stock market tips from Seok-woo, told him that passengers at Daejeon station would be quarantined. So he gave Seok-woo advice on how to escape. "Don't go out the main gate. Use the east gate. My men will meet you there." As Seok-woo was leaving, he saw the beggar sitting there scared. Seok-woo thought he hadn't heard anything, but he was pretending to be unaware. Soon, the train stopped at the station, where there was complete silence. Passengers began to disembark cautiously. The conductor went to check the rear and saw a horrific sight. Then that same selfish old man said that the entire city where they had stopped was sealed and only Busan was still open. He told the conductor to detach the engine and take him alone to Busan. The conductor ignored him and went to inform the passengers. Meanwhile, passengers moved toward the gate outside and were surprised to see no army. There was still commotion in the hall. Seok-woo was looking for the officer to find a safe place. There was a banner on the railing, but he went inside with his daughter. Seeing this, Dong-seok and his wife were surprised. Then Suan asked, "Why aren't we going with them?" At that moment, the beggar also arrived. He revealed that he had heard everything Seok-woo said. "I know the rest will be quarantined separately." Hearing this, Suan immediately ran to call the others. But Seok-woo stopped her. He told his daughter, "Don't worry about anyone else right now. In this situation, everyone has to think of their own survival." This broke Suan from within. "You only think about yourself." Meanwhile, as soon as Dong-seok got off the train, he felt something strange. There was no military security outside. As he went down the escalator, he saw the entire army standing there. But then the soldiers started turning around. The army deployed to stop the virus had themselves become infected and turned into zombies. Dong-seok jumped off the escalator with his pregnant wife and ran. Those who couldn't run in time immediately became prey. The strength and speed of these soldiers became even more terrifying and deadly after turning into zombies. Just then, a horde of zombies reached Suan. Frozen in fear, she couldn't move. The zombies lunged at her. Seok-woo saw that time was running out. Then, Dong-seok arrived, and Suan had a narrow escape. Then the zombies moved toward the girl's father. Dong-seok and his wife took the girl and left. The corridor was filled with zombies, and people were running toward the platform. The baseball players were telling everyone to hurry. But Seok-woo missed his chance, and a zombie knocked him down. He shoved a book into the zombie's mouth to save himself. Meanwhile, Dong-seok jammed the door shut with a bat. But they didn't leave. They were helping the people fleeing the hall. Then a beggar helped the girl's father. Scared, Seok-woo came to his senses at Dong-seok's call and ran away. Then, a large number of zombies arrived, and as soon as Seok-woo got in, everyone together closed the main door. But it was very difficult to hold the zombies back. Their numbers kept increasing. On the other side, those who reached the train quickly opened the door. But inside, there were also zombies. The conductor ran toward the cabin, and people started telling those behind to hurry. But that selfish old man was waiting to close the door. The conductor went into the cabin, opened the window, and waited for passengers. Suddenly, the upper window broke, and a horde of zombies fell down. An old woman was crushed under a zombie. When she got up, she saw that despite a broken bone, the zombie was still trying to attack humans. Two kind people quickly pulled the scared woman into the train. Due to the crowd, everyone was forced to board different coaches. The pregnant woman tried to open the door when she saw a zombie. She was helping the girl and the old woman, but as she tried to close the door, she realized it wasn't a zombie, but the beggar. Within moments, most people had boarded the train. Then an elderly man grabbed the conductor's shirt, threatened him, and said the train must leave immediately. Helpless, the conductor had to ask the train master to start the train. But a few people were still standing at the hall door. The real men of the entire train. If they hadn't stayed and blocked the way, perhaps no one would have boarded safely. Even though they tried with all their might to close the door, they soon realized the glass door wouldn't hold much longer. So without a word, they decided to run immediately. The train was slow. Some athletes ran to catch it, but as they got off, zombies attacked. There were zombies behind, and the train was leaving ahead. Due to the low speed, two people managed to board. Seok-woo reached out to help, but seeing the danger, Dong-seok stepped back and picked up a shield. Finally, with Seok-woo's help, Dong-seok also successfully boarded the train, and a deep friendship formed between them. Then the conductor contacted the railway center, and finding no safe station, headed the train toward Busan. At that time, everyone was in different coaches. Dong-seok's wife tried to call, but the beggar stopped her because he saw that both the left and right side coaches were filled with zombies. The four of them were trapped near the train door, but because they didn't make any loud noise and the zombies didn't see them, they weren't caught. Now the only places to hide were the toilets on either side of the coach. They carefully reached there. And just as the woman signaled the beggar to come quickly, a zombie spotted them, and in no time, many zombies attacked them, putting the three in the toilet in grave danger. Just then, Jin-hee received a call from her boyfriend, learning that he was fine. Meanwhile, Dong-seok called his wife. She panicked and said she was trapped with the little girl in coach 13 and needed help. The boy said that the other passengers were in coaches 1 to 5, while they were in coach 9. To reach their friends, the three decided to make their way through these dangerous zombies. When the train suddenly entered a tunnel, Dong-seok made a plan. As soon as they exited the tunnel, they would go in. Dong-seok stood in front, handling the oncoming zombies first, while the other two covered him from the rear. At that time, they were in coach 10, and their first plan was to go to coach 13 to rescue the people. United, they pushed the zombies back and got out of coach 10. But as soon as they entered the next coach, 11, Taijin suddenly froze in shock, because the ones standing before him were his teammates who had become zombies. For this reason, he couldn't bring himself to attack his old friends. So Dong-seok decided to strike first, slamming each one to the ground. Taijin's friends were very strong, and as zombies, their strength had become even more dangerous. Even seeing his two friends in danger, he couldn't raise his hand against them. Soon all those zombies started overpowering Seok-woo and Dong-seok. But despite all this, he could only watch. Just then, the train passed through a tunnel, and they noticed something strange. The zombies stopped attacking them and started looking for prey elsewhere. The three stood confused. Then a ball fell from above, and the zombies turned toward it. Seok-woo tapped the luggage rack above, and indeed, the zombies immediately gathered there. They quickly took advantage and crossed that coach. But then the train exited the tunnel, and the zombies once again stood before them. The three crouched down and thought, concluding that these zombies' hearing and sight were far sharper than humans. But as soon as they were in darkness, their sight became completely useless, while their hearing became even keener in the dark. So when they were about to enter coach 12, Seok-woo got a good idea. He asked Dong-seok for his phone and quickly saved his own number in it. When the train entered the tunnel, the three quietly reached the seats behind the zombies. Then he placed Dong-seok's phone behind and called it from his own phone. Hearing the ringtone, all the zombies ran toward the sound, and thus, cleverly, the three crossed coach 12 and reached in front of coach 13. Dong-seok's wife, an old woman, and the little girl were trapped in the bathroom with the beggar. Suddenly seeing Dong-seok, his wife became emotional. Suan's eyes were searching for her father. Then Seok-woo saw her. Zombies were just 3 meters away, and the train had emerged from the tunnel. Before the zombies could see them, the three quickly got inside the toilet. They checked their phones and saw that the next tunnel was in 2 minutes. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. Dong Seok now realized he had been wrong about Seok Woo. Actually, Seok Woo didn't suck people's blood, he sucked everything they had. Jokes aside, Seok Woo was a good man. Just then, Jin Hee received a message from Taejun saying he was coming to meet her in Coach 15. Jin Hee told everyone that all her friends would soon be in Coach 15. Hearing this, the old man sitting nearby, that mean manager Kim, panicked. He thought it was impossible for them to return to them unharmed, without being infected, after getting through so many zombies. The old man twisted his words so that everyone standing nearby was forced to believe that those people were already infected with the zombie virus, just not showing symptoms yet. But these people never thought that the man who had been saving them everywhere could not possibly come and put them in danger. So Jin Hee quietly pleaded with the conductor, but he couldn't do anything either. When the train entered the tunnel again, Dong Seok started moving forward. But the corridor was full of zombies. Then Seok Woo's eyes fell on the luggage rack, and he gave Dong Seok an idea. Immediately, everyone got into action and quietly started crawling overhead. Seeing the path blocked ahead, Seok Woo picked up a bag and threw it behind, distracting the zombies. Then he picked up Suan and started running. But they forgot about the beggar above. As they descended, Suan saw the beggar's legs wobbling, and he fell. Seeing him fall, Suan wanted to help. But the sudden noise drew the zombies' attention. Seok Woo was forced to send his daughter ahead first, and he went to help the beggar. But just then, the train suddenly emerged from the tunnel. The zombies rapidly advanced toward them. Both froze in fear. The man was ready to attack with his bat. Then Dong Seok signaled them to come quickly. Seok Woo told the beggar to run on the count of 3. But then the zombies chased them wildly. As soon as they got inside, Dong Seok closed the door, and the zombies got stuck in the gap. Dong Seok held the half-open door firmly while his friend went to open the other coach's door. But it wouldn't open. Seok Woo started pulling with all his might, and Taejun immediately called his friend. He didn't know that the people ahead had deliberately locked the door and taken Jin Hee under control. As soon as the girl's phone rang, manager Kim kicked and broke it. Seeing the door wouldn't open, Seok Woo immediately went to help Dong Seok. Meanwhile, Taejun was trying with all his might to break the door. But the door was too strong. Dong Seok held the door with all his strength to keep the zombies out. But this time the situation got worse because deep teeth marks were visible on Dong Seok's hand. On one side, the boy was bashing the glass like a madman. On the other side, people were secretly laughing. Very soon the glass door was about to break. Just then, manager Kim ran to stop him. By then, everyone together started to close the gate. Those cruel people didn't even think that the boy's hand was stuck in the gate. If they applied more force, his hand might be severed. Just then, an elderly woman saw her sister. She immediately ran to stop the crowd, and Jin Hee, seizing the opportunity, bit the conductor's hand, freeing him to go help the woman. Then a man pushed the elderly woman. Jin Hee couldn't do anything in front of so many people. Seeing the infected Dong Seok, his pregnant wife completely broke down. She wanted her child to see his father. Before the zombies came in, Dong Seok asked Seok Woo to take her to safety. Before the infection spread, he named the child, and then the glass shattered completely. Dong Seok kept blocking them until his last breath. But the zombies' numbers were not decreasing. On the other side, no one was willing to open the door. Moreover, manager Kim put all his force into closing the door. Meanwhile, Dong Seok began to change. But fighting the virus inside his body, he held the zombies back until his last breath. As soon as a large number of zombies started rushing out like madmen, Seok Woo finally opened the door and pulled everyone inside. But the despaired elderly woman no longer wanted to live, and she allowed the zombies to attack her. Seeing her sister leave, the other elderly woman couldn't bear it. Seok Woo quickly closed the door and, in anger, punched Kim hard, knocking him down. Why did you do that? But who knew that selfish Kim would turn around and blame Seok Woo? He's infected too. Through his accusations and instigation, Seok Woo became a villain in everyone's eyes. Instead of retaliating, Seok Woo silently listened to their words. Get out of here. They walked away with heavy steps toward the next coach. At Kim's urging, everyone quickly closed the door and tied it tightly with clothes. They were afraid the door was weak, so they all held it together. Meanwhile, the elderly woman sitting behind was immersed in grief for her sister. She no longer wanted to see the ugly faces of these selfish people. So she walked toward the zombies. Manager Kim was surprised. He immediately said to stop the elderly woman from opening the gate. But it was too late. The rear coach instantly filled with zombies, and they themselves had already blocked the only escape route. As soon as the train exited the tunnel, the city outside was in smoke and fire, and the virus had spread. Then Seok Woo got news that the Busan army had brought the zombies under control. Seeing an obstacle on the track, the driver applied emergency brakes and started looking for another train to go to Busan. After searching for a while, he found a safe engine and slowly pulled it out of the garage. Seok Woo led everyone off the train and headed toward the place the driver had designated. Just then, in the coach overrun by zombies, Kim and the conductor, who had survived, thought about getting out of the toilet. But what was about to happen would completely disgrace Kim's humanity and baseness. He lied that everything outside was now safe and told the conductor to open the door first and cautiously check. And when the conductor quietly peeked out, Kim pushed him into the midst of the zombies and ran away like a jackal. But he forgot to close the train door. Meanwhile, the driver pulled the engine out. But he saw a terrifying sight. An uncontrolled train, completely engulfed in flames, was speeding toward them. Suddenly, that train collided with the zombie-filled train and overturned. Then Tejan saw that he and his girlfriend were trapped between the two trains. He tried to open the empty train's door to move forward, but it was locked. Then he started breaking the window with a tool. Meanwhile, the danger from behind was approaching him. Suddenly, Kim got out of the zombie train and climbed into the empty coach. Without a second thought, he threw Jin-hee into the middle of the zombies. Seeing this, Chae-jun ran to save her. Meanwhile, Kim started breaking the glass to save himself. Chae-jun somehow managed to close the door, but as soon as he looked at Jin-hee, he realized his girlfriend had already mutated. As the glass broke, Kim jumped out the window and fled. Then Tae-jun was also bitten. Kim ran with all his might toward the engine, but his foot twisted. The conductor got off to help him, and you can guess what happened next. He made the conductor into a zombie's prey as well. Kim immediately ran toward the engine, while the conductor was attacked by zombies. Meanwhile, Seok-woo's situation was also bad. They were trapped in the train wreckage. Seeing a gap, he got out. But as soon as he tried to save Suan, some heavy debris fell from above. He frantically tried to pull it away. But soon the windows were about to break, and no way was left. Finally, the homeless man, the same beggar, had to risk his life to give Dong-seok's wife and Suan time to escape. After hard effort, Seok-woo removed the engine from the front of the coach and quickly pulled them both out. But as soon as all the windows shattered, the beggar was drowned in the horde of zombies. When the train completely overturned, countless zombies ran towards Seok-woo. The problem was that he was holding Suan in his arms, and the pregnant woman was behind him. Hundreds of zombies were chasing them, and they were about to become prey. But luckily, two zombies collided with each other, causing all the zombies behind to fall and creating a stampede. The three ran against time and finally, finding a ray of hope, climbed onto the train engine. But the zombies' speed was no less than the train's. They kept grabbing onto the train one by one. Over time, all the zombies formed a long chain behind the train, and the bridge of chains kept growing, causing the train's speed to gradually decrease. Seok-woo understood the situation and without hesitation moved forward and started kicking the zombies' hands hard. Just then, a zombie sprinted quickly towards Seok-woo to attack him. But Seok-woo kicked the zombie down in time. This caused the zombies ahead to fall one by one, and many were left behind. Seok-woo breathed a sigh of relief and moved toward the cabin. He thought the conductor would be there. But as soon as he opened the door, he was terrified by the sight inside and quickly closed the door and stepped back. Because the zombies had bitten Kim, but he hadn't fully mutated yet, so he opened the door himself. Seeing him approach, Seok-woo panicked. He was very confused about how to stop him. Kim begged Seok-woo to save him. But only when Seok-woo warned him did Kim realize his condition and the change. Within seconds, Kim fully mutated and attacked Seok-woo. In the struggle, Seok-woo soon fell into the zombie's grip. Then the pregnant woman saved him with all her strength, but she herself became the zombie's target. Then Seok-woo remembered his promise to Dong-seok. He immediately got up and clamped the zombie's mouth shut. But this was his biggest mistake. The zombie seized the opportunity and bit Seok-woo, the main character of our story. Seok-woo knew what was going to happen next. So before mutating, he tied a chain around his waist, aimed for the ground near the railway track, and jumped down with the zombie, slamming it onto the ground. But after one danger was averted, he himself became the next danger. Seok-woo, understanding his condition, looked at Suan. He realized how selfish he had been. He only ever thought of himself and never understood Suan's feelings. Now he just wanted to correct his mistake. So he untied the chain, quickly ran to the cabin, and hastily told the woman how to stop the train. Perhaps this was the last thing he could do for his daughter. After that, Seok-woo went to his daughter and softly explained something to her. He said, "Now you must always stay with this auntie and never trouble her." Hearing this, Suan cried loudly, "Don't go anywhere. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere." Then Seok-woo, weeping, quickly left the cabin. Recalling the memories of Suan's birth, he remembered all the moments spent with her. Thinking of this, Seok-woo smiled, and his pain lessened a little. And with this last memory, he was gone from Suan forever. Dong-seok's wife quietly came all the way to Busan City with Suan. The train stopped before a tunnel. Ahead lay a lot of debris and many corpses. With no way to retreat, they entered the dark tunnel. Soldiers stationed at the end of the tunnel aimed at both of them. Their job was to shoot any zombies coming out of the tunnel. But they weren't sure that these two weren't zombies. Just then, orders came from above to shoot them as zombies. As soon as the order came, the soldiers locked their targets and took aim. Then, from the tunnel, a song was heard. Everyone knew zombies cannot sing. Hearing the voice, two soldiers moved their comrades inside for safety. Suen always wanted to sing this song to her father. But now that was impossible, and this is how this masterpiece movie ends. To be honest, this movie makes me emotional no matter how many times I watch it. So tell me, how did you like this movie? If you liked it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments which movie you want to see next. Thanks for watching.